lot of government secrets that we don't know about, obviously because they're secrets. Much of what goes on in the government and in the military is highly classified, but that doesn't stop us from asking around and theorizing about what we don't know. One of the most fascinating secrets out there involves the military units around the world and their top secret missions, and with the information we do have, we can get a pretty good idea as to how powerful these units really are. Today we're talking about them as we count down the top 10 most powerful militaries you've never heard of. At number 10, 7781 Army Unit. I want you to take a moment to imagine your favorite spy movie. Are you thinking about it? It's probably James Bond, isn't it? Well, if it is, then you'll find this military unit to be incredibly fascinating because they were essentially like a group of James Bonds. The 7781 Army Unit, also known as the 39th Special Forces Operational Detachment, was a military group that operated in Berlin from 1956 to 1984. Their purpose was to protect West Berlin from communist insurgents, and they were also responsible for strategizing a takeover, resistance, and protection plan in case the city was overtaken by hostile forces. This organization included a collection of individuals who were essentially trained like spies, and they even got to use cool tools and gadgets like the ones that you would find in spy films, such as cigarette lighter guns and C4-filled coal. To train these recruits, they had to undergo exposure to harsh conditions like extreme cold. They learned to scuba dive, and they did frequent parachute jumps as well. They were also trained by other high-profile military groups to make sure that this unit was the strongest and most skilled that they could be. This all took place from behind the harsh conditions of the Iron Curtain, and many of those in this organization were those who still had families on the other side. At number 9, Polish GROM. Moving on to another powerful European military unit, we have the Polish GROM. The GROM stands for Group for Operational Maneuvering Response, and their main purpose is rescue operations. The GROM unit was officially organized in 1990, but the group can also trace its lineage back to the group of exiled paratroopers from World War II called the Silent Unseen, who were known for their jump into occupied Poland during its German hold. Keeping with the theme of liberation, the Polish GROM was organized initially after Operation Bridge, which was a mission to get Jewish people from the Soviet Union into Israel. Because of the significant threat from opposing forces, this military unit was created as a way to hold back enemies while being able to complete their mission. However, even though their jobs were more about liberation and protection, the members of the Polish GROM still had to undergo some serious training. It is said that the recruits had to pass psychological and durability tests and something referred to as a truth test. Mysterious. These troops would be weakened physically and mentally to weed out the weakest of the bunch. As for the skill set of this group, well, they were pretty talented and powerful as they were trained in parachuting, amphibious insertion, diving, pyrotechnics, and vehicle handling. Now, before we continue talking about these super powerful military units, I would like to first take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, because we just love seeing you guys support the channel. At number 8, Delta Force. Even though this next military group has a relatively short history, they still hold the title of one of the most powerful military operations in the world because of their skill set and reputation. This US Army organization is made up of the best recruits from the Army Rangers, the Green Berets, as well as members of the Navy and Air Force. Much of the information regarding this group is classified, and it's a rare thing to find any documents that acknowledge the existence of this group because of its high regard and high-profile missions. This group is known for its ability to capture and take down high-profile targets, and you might know them as the ones who carried out Operation Red Dawn, the mission that led to the capture and arrest of former Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein. Because this is such a high-profile unit, training is very intense. Leaked information tells us that as part of their training and recruitment, members of the Delta Force have to master tactical driving, vehicle takedowns, and assaulter team tactics, and as part of their final exam, they are given a breaching operation with a group of fellow recruits playing as the hostage. The whole point of this activity is to serve as a grim reminder to not hurt the hostage, because in this case, one wrong or uncalculated move, and they could take out their comrade. At number 7, France's GIGN. This next group holds the title of one of the most combat-experienced counter-terrorist organizations in the whole world. The French GIGN, or Groupe d'Intervention de la Gendarmerie Nationale, is often referred to as the lethal combination of a SWAT team and the Delta Force, and these people do not play around. They are very serious about their work and their security of their country, and they only take on the best recruits. It is said that those looking to join the GIGN undergo 14 months of training that is so rigorous that the starting class of recruits gets dwindled down from 120 recruits to 18 in just 2 weeks. As part of their training, these recruits train in one of the best marksmanship schools in the world, and they're also trained in weapons handling, airborne courses including halo jumps, hand-to-hand combat, diving, survival training, and explosive ordnance disposal. This group is also known for their lethal marksmanship. To give you an idea of how good these people are, they are given a firearm with only 6 shots, and they are sure to make every last one count, kind of like Deadpool. At number 6, JTF-2. The JTF-2, or Joint Task Force 2, is a Canadian Special Forces unit who, in comparison to other military units, has a relatively short history, as was only founded back in 1993 when it took over the counter-terrorist duties from the Special Emergency Response Team of the RCMP. This group is also very secretive, which is why you might not know them. Though we know that they've been part of some high-profile missions in places like Iraq, Serbia, and Afghanistan, the details of those missions remain classified. What we do know is that the members of this force are highly trained and are sometimes referred to as ghosts, being a quote, faceless, shadowy counterterrorism force. These people rescue hostages, take down snipers, and aid in other special ops groups from other countries as well. At number 5, Alpha Group. Here's one group who's known for being quite lethal and incredibly powerful. Russia's Alpha Group is a division of the country's special forces. These guys are a lot. They're known for getting the job done by whatever means necessary, but that isn't always a pretty sight. The Alpha Group was put together in the mid-1970s and first became public knowledge after the Russian invasion of Kabul in 1979. To make things scarier, the Alpha Group is known for its brutal vengeance when taking down the enemy. Just to prove even further how serious these guys are, the Alpha Group came under fire back in 2002 after the events of the Moscow theater crisis, when in order to knock out militants, the military group used chemical gas, which resulted in the deaths of nearly 130 hostages as collateral damage. Their whole thing is, as long as the job gets done, that's what matters, which is honestly pretty scary to think about. I would not want to cross these guys. At number 4, the Sayeret Matkal of Israel. Apparently, this next military group is pretty legendary, but you probably don't even know who they are. The Sayeret Matkal of Israel, also referred to as Unit 269, is a highly secretive special ops unit who's considered one of the best in the world due to their high skill set, effectiveness, and discreet nature. These guys are like ninjas, relying on top secrecy, attacking in small groups while in disguise, and getting out before anyone even realizes that they were even there. They're like every stealth archer roleplay from Skyrim, and it's a little scary, not gonna lie. This special ops group works so quickly and effectively that they were able to devise a plan in under a week to rescue 106 hostages when an Air France plane was hijacked, and the whole operation took them a little over an hour to complete. Can you believe that? Rescuing over 100 people safely in an hour? When describing Unit 269, someone once said, "Once you know it's there, you're already out of time," and honestly, that sent a chill down my spine. I feel like I'm being watched here. At number 3, SBS. Britain's Special Boat Service, also referred to as the SBS, is one of the most rigorously trained military teams out there, and you do not want to mess with them. The SBS is Britain's most secretive and elite military units, and other than their existence, all we really know is just how powerful they are. Just to become part of this unit, recruits have to undergo rigorous training and testing, and they have a 90% failure rate, so they only choose the best of the best for this team. To be selected for the SBS, recruits have to undergo an intense 4-week endurance test that gets more and more difficult and concludes with a 40-kilometer march. On top of that, graduates must also master weapons handling, jungle training, complex fighting, and combat survival before they can officially join the team. Now you're probably wondering what kind of missions these people are sent on, since they're so impeccably well trained. Well, they've been a part of the teams that went to fight terror groups like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and the Taliban, and they've also been sent on rescue missions in places like Sierra Leone and Libya. This remains one of the most respected military groups out there, and they're all just one big secret. At number 2, Space Force. The United States Space Force is America's newest branch of military, designed to essentially protect the United States from any threats that may come from above. To me, that sounds like a confirmation of aliens, because why else would you put together a military branch to fight things from space? But anyway, Since we have yet to actually have any kind of war with extraterrestrials, the Space Force has been working on preparing themselves to such an extent that they've made themselves pretty powerful now that they have a space plane. The X-37B space plane, manufactured by Boeing, is an unmanned reusable aircraft that is capable of spending an extended period of time in space, where it will be allegedly conducting scientific experiments, but I think the experiments that they will really be conducting is searching for alien life. This aircraft is so top secret that when the Air Force was doing a live stream of the space plane's first takeoff, they literally had to cut the cameras because they didn't want too much to be revealed to the public, which now begs the question, what exactly do they have to hide? This new Space Force is very secretive, but if they can really send this space plane into space alone and have it return no problem, then I think we'll either be in for some amazing science or an apocalypse. Either way, this military unit is totally powerful. Finally, at number 1, MACV-SOG. Now, I had to put this military unit at number 1 because not only were they the most top secret special ops unit, but these guys were so powerful it is unbelievable. The MACV-SOG was a special ops unit from back during the Vietnam War, and their very existence was so secretive that even America forgot about them. When they were out on the front lines, they didn't belong to anyone, at least in the eyes of the enemy. They wore no uniform, they had no dog tags or identifying marks, and even their weapons had their serial numbers filed off so they couldn't be traced. Their existence was so top secret that these troops were deployed where US soldiers weren't supposed to be so that no one would suspect that they were there. I mean, these guys were really trying to disappear just to take out the enemy. They would even go so far as to eat the exact same diet as those in the area they were stationed at, so that even their waste would smell the same as the locals so that their presence wouldn't be detected. The missions that these troops were sent on could be its own video, but probably not because they're pretty graphic, but if you really want to know, I would recommend looking it up on your own time. But yeah, these guys were by far the most powerful and the most secretive too. Now before I wrap things up here, I just want you guys to leave me a comment down below telling me which one of these military units we talked about was the most impressive. I think to me, I'd have to say that it was the Vietnam Special Ops unit because they were by far the most impressive. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I've been your host, Room, and until next time, stay safe, make good choices, and I'll see you guys next time.